The Mamba mentality simply means trying to be the best version of yourself.
Hey guys, hope you're all doing well, hope you're all safe. So today is the first episode of the Mamba Mentality series. And before I begin and let the video play on, I do want to say this. I want to give credit to where credit is due. I know I mentioned this in the first video, but I'm just going to make this loud and clear. The videos that you're going to see throughout this series was stitched together by a channel called Deep Game. But what I'm doing is I'm breaking it down piece by piece, and I'm referencing other books going deeper in detail. So before anybody comes and says, oh, but blah, blah, blah. No, go check them out. Go watch that video. Go watch all the videos that they have. They're an amazing channel. I love their channel. Especially if you love sports. It doesn't even need to be basketball. But like if you love like the whole mental aspect of sports, go check them out. So with saying that, let's begin.
Just talk about staying in that zone and how you were able to maintain that.
It's hard, man. You know, there's times where you come out of it, and even myself, when I'd come out of it, I'd be aware of bringing myself right back, right? Because sometimes you have those emotional outbursts, right? But then you got to find that center again because the next play is imminent. You're here, right? So the most important thing is really staying in the moment and staying present. I mean, that's all the zone is. You know, whether it's offensive and being in the zone or defensive being in the zone, what that really means is that you're simply here in the present, and the only thing that matters is what's right in front of you. And the trick is, how do you do that? Yeah, well, Phil introduced meditation to us when he came to our team in '99, 2000. And it was something that I instantly gravitated to because I could see the effects. Right? I used to watch, studying the games, the Bulls teams, and watching their demeanor, watching their composure, playing in a tough place in like Utah doing the finals and being down 17, but everybody was like this. You couldn't tell if they were down 17 or up 20 or a tie game. It never changed. And I was wondering why the hell that is. And that's when I started doing more research. And when Phil came, I immediately gravitated to it and then found myself accepted the challenge of finding what that space is. And for the 81-point game, man, to be honest, I wasn't even thinking about the game. My knee was hurting so much. I didn't know then, but I had a flap of joint of cartilage stuck in my joint line. And so my mind was really trying to go to a place where I don't feel that pain. And the game started, and because of that, I was just in a different space. I wasn't worried about what was to come. I wasn't worried about what just happened. I was just here. And when you're just there in the moment, playing plays right in front of you, your focus is heightened because nothing else matters. That's the space I've tried to get to.
I meditate every day. And I do it in the mornings, and I do it for about 10 to 15 minutes. And I think it's important because it sets me up for the rest of the day. It helps me. It's like having an anchor. If I don't do it, I feel like I'm constantly chasing the day, as opposed to being able to be controlled and dictate the day. Not that you're, calling the shots on what comes forward, but the fact that I am set and ready for whatever may come my way. I have a calmness about whatever comes my way and a poise. And that comes from starting the morning off with meditation. Before you start a game, how can you lock in and get into that mental space where nothing else matters? You're completely locked in and focused on what you're trying to accomplish as an athlete out here. The noise of the crowd doesn't matter. Whether the cheering or booing doesn't matter. You're just completely locked in. How do you do that?
I bought into the meditation. I bought into the deeper connection that exists within the game. And so when you watch our teams, or you watch any of Phil's teams, or Chicago teams, Game 6 against Utah, you watch our games, Game 7 against Boston, we were never rattled, ever. Because we're always in the moment, always in the present, always extremely calm, always looking at the reality of the situation and not letting our emotions cloud our execution. And that comes from being in that meditative state that he would teach and preach from day one.
11-point lead right now for the Lakers. Final minute, third. Bryant won't go. Duncan the board.
That felt good. I hate when shots feel good and they don't go in. But you got to just tweak it. You forget about it, go into the next play. Yeah, I don't dwell on missed shots at all. I don't think about that stuff. Very, very optimistic. If I miss 5 in a row, that means I'm due for the 6th one. If I miss the 6th one, that means I'm definitely due for the 7th one. If I miss the 7th one, I mean that 8th one's going in. Give me that!
So, let's look at it. The first law of the Mamba mentality is the law of presence. Performance increases as thought decreases. Kobe Bryant spoke about a couple things here that I want to go deeper into. He spoke about being in the zone, staying in the present moment, which I think there's a difference there, and 3, meditation. Let's first look at Tim Grover's relentless. I don't care what you're trying to be. If you want to be a doctor, a nurse, a mechanic, a teacher, a this, a that, a professional gamer, pick up this book. This book is what sets the greats apart from the legends. And yes, some things in this book can be kind of harsh and a little bit unorthodox, but it's the truth. So let's look at what Tim Grover has to say about staying in the zone. Anyone who has experienced the awesome power of the zone will tell you it's deeply calm. It's not relaxing or peaceful. This isn't yoga, but intensely focused. And once you're there, you have no fear, no worry, no emotions. You do what you came to do. Nothing can touch you. That's what being in the zone is, right? Being in the zone is just being in this space where you're just getting it done. If we want to talk about sports, right? Kobe speaks about his 81-point game where he wasn't concentrating on what was going on in the game because his knee hurt. He wasn't even mentally there because there's a space that he was in that just says, okay, let's get the job done so we can get out of here and fix this, right? You need to be in that zone. But what we need to learn is turning on and turning off that zone. That's what really sets everybody apart. Where me personally, I can say what gets me in the zone is my emotion. The emotion of anger, of like being upset or whatever else you want to call it. If you want to look at sports, right? If I get fouled consistently, I'm going to start getting pissed off. And I'm going to start to ball out even harder. That's when I'm going to say, okay, if you're going to play like that, I'm just going to embarrass you. Plain and simple, right? If we want to look at this at a life route, right? Like a life situation is where people say, oh, you're dumb, you're this, you're that, you're never going to succeed. All those negative words get me in my zone. When I was in the 9th grade, I had a teacher who told me, you're going to be a loser, you're going to drop out, and you're going to most likely work at McDonald's and do nothing with your life. He literally looked me in the eye and told me that. And that keeps me in my zone. When I need to turn it on, that gets me right back on track. I graduated high school, got my associates, about to be done with my bachelor's, got a great paying job. That's what turns on the zone. You need to figure out what you need to do to turn on and off your zone. So that's number 1, right? Number 2 is staying in the present moment, right? A lot of people get distracted easily. I personally do. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I get distracted easy as hell. Or we think too much into the future, right? Or we just let other people discourage us. And I want to look at a quote from the book The Wisnard Series Training Camp by Kobe and Wesley King. This kind of relates to the zone, but then it also relates to the present moment. So let's look at it, right? Let me open this up. Open this up. It goes and says, spectators can applaud or jeer. Doesn't matter. Either way, the track remains. So, being in the present moment, right? People are going to say things. People are going to do things. People are going to try to get you off of that route that you're taking. No matter what happens, no matter what people say or do, you have to go along this path that you need to take to get to the goal. Stop focusing too much on the future, because if you focus too much on the future, you're not going to get nothing done. Personally, one of my faults was focusing too much on the future. I used to say, hey, I'm going to get over my speech impediment. I wasn't reading books, I wasn't getting out of my comfort zone, I wasn't meditating, I wasn't doing affirmations, I wasn't doing the steps today that I needed to do to get to the goal in the future. And a lot of us do that. We focus too much on the future. So stay in the present moment. Do what you need to do today to get to your goal tomorrow. So that's number 2. And number 3, I want to talk about meditation. Meditation and affirmations, right? Because, like he says, 5 to 10 minutes when you wake up, you should be good for the rest of the day. I say 5 to 10 minutes in the morning, 5 to 10 minutes at night. So this could set up for tomorrow, right? But how I do it is I take a different approach. I use a Star Wars book, and I know that's very nerdy, but this tiny book right here, every page is a new way of meditating. Even if you don't like Star Wars, or even if you've never watched Star Wars, pick up this book. And if you haven't watched Star Wars, go check it out, right? But there's a quote here that ties into being in the zone that I want to read real quick, and then we go back to meditating, right? It says, remember, concentrate on the moment, feel, don't think, use your instincts. That's by Qui-Gon Jinn, right? That's more of being in the zone. But I think meditation is so important, and something that can actually help you out when you do it together is meditating and having a daily planner, right? This is a new one that I just picked up, so I'm just going to flip to an empty page here, but on this side is the time, right? You write what you need to do, right? And then on this side is write down your goals, the quote of the day that's going to motivate you, right? Your targets, your success, and you write more goals at the bottom. If you do this together, you can stay in the present. Meditating is so important, and I think everybody should be doing it. So let's recap. We spoke about staying in the zone. We spoke about staying in the present moment and meditations. And I do want to speak about affirmations, because what a lot of people don't get is what you tell yourself is very important, especially while meditating. If you continuously tell yourself bad things throughout the day, your subconscious mind is going to pick that up. And then that's going to tell your conscious mind, hey, if you tell yourself you're not good enough at XYZ, your conscious mind is going to believe that. So while you're meditating, also do affirmations. Like what I do to help with my speech impediment is I say, I don't stutter anymore. And I have a lot more, but that's one of the more important ones. And I have a good speaking there right after that, because my subconscious mind is already getting used to it, and it's telling my conscious mind, hey, we don't do this. We speak clearly. We speak smoothly. So I want you guys to really sit yourself down and start learning how to turn off and turn on your zone, learning how to be in the present moment, and meditating. Those are the 3 things I want you to pick up. We just finished the first law of the Mamba mentality. So hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Mamba out.